What's up, friends? Welcome back to another episode of Industrious Radio, TV, YouTube, all over the internet show. We are going deep today on a question we get asked a lot, which is around how the signing process works when you're looking at joining an Industrious franchise. Steve-O, let's get into it.
Yeah, hell yeah, let's jump in. So essentially, it goes like this. When people are interested and they're excited, they meet us. They'll go to the website and they'll start looking at the brand, what we do, our locations, check us out on social media. Of course, go to all of our gym's socials and just check out the excitement. I mean, it's fun. Follow Work Hard, Live Fit, and you'll see what happens sort of in our gyms. And that's the foundation of everything, right? That's the core of everything. And then in terms of opening up an Industrious gym, it's as simple as starting by going to the franchise opportunity and looking at it a little bit more on our website, and then filling out the form that says, hey, get in touch with me, I'm interested. And then that kind of unlocks some more information on our website. Once you do that and we know who you are, then we give you information that tells you sort of how it goes, like what the costs are, all this other fun stuff. We don't go into item 19 stuff, which is just so that people know what that is. If you don't, item 19 is how much money you make. At that point, we don't go into that, but we're going to show you kind of, what you can expect. And then what we'll do is we'll schedule a call with you. And on that first call, we're just going to talk to you a little bit, and we're going to kind of understand who you are as a person and why you're interested in the opportunity, and kind of dive into the application a little bit and see, is the credit profile there? Is the capital there? And we'll help you with all that stuff. If you're worried, like, am I going to have enough money for this? We'll be able to help you make that decision, because that's also very important, right? So once the call is scheduled, you'll get an application which has our non-disclosure agreement in it, and then we can start diving into some things.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so you can think of it as, it's the initial first blush is you get some info that comes over that you can kind of read through. And then when we jump on that first call, it's a good get to know you style call, right? That's really what we're trying to do there. We're wanting to get to know you, your goals, your background, your history. Depending on how much you know about Industrious, we'll kind of get into some of the kind of 30,000 foot view about it. Chances are you'll have done some research, so you'll know some stuff, but we'll take you a little bit deeper into the model and into why we love it, why it works, what's special about it, unique. And then from there, after Steve-O said you signed some non-disclosure agreement documents and some next steps, if you want to move forward and we feel like it's a good fit, then we'll go into our deep dive conversation.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And on the deep dive, what we'll do is we're going to walk you through our franchise disclosure document. And that is about a 150-page document in total. The first 75 pages of it is the actual franchise disclosure document, and the second 75-ish pages is the actual franchise agreement. And we'll walk you through everything that's involved. We go through it top to bottom, and we go through on that call. We really do dive into our item 19. We show it to you, and item 19 again is just how much money. It's essentially the profit and loss statement of the gyms. But every year the item 19 is a little different, and depending on what we want to disclose and what we feel like we need to kind of keep private. But you're going to get an idea how much money I can make on that call, and plus what's involved in training, like what's like literally everything. There's
the costs,
right? There's
all the labor, everything.
There's 23 items on that thing that we go through, and so you're going to know everything, and we have to disclose everything to you. And then we leave you with that document for a couple of weeks, as well as the territory map, and you can review that document with whoever you need to review it with, your business partners, your loved ones, your lawyer, anybody that you feel like you need to review that thing with. And while you're doing that, you're selecting your territory. And then 2 weeks after that, we'll get on another call and we'll say, what do you think? And at that time, it's either going to be a hell yes or a hell no, because there's no in between, because that's the way I view it, right? There may be an in between for that person or you, right? But it's either a hell yes or it's a hell no. And if it's a hell no, then that's totally fine. But if it's a hell yes, then we're moving forward, and that's exciting. And we select your territory, we get you signed on, and then we get to work and we get you open. And so if there's still a lot of wishy-washy after a couple of weeks, like, oh, maybe, no, maybe, then that's a hell no to me. And it's like, cool, I get it. But if it's like, yeah, let's go, then let's go.
And that is different for everybody. Sometimes it's a timing issue. Sometimes it's a life issue. We've had a lot of people who I think would have been great franchise owners, great fits for the system, but the life circumstances and the timing weren't right? So I encourage you to explore it. I mean, if the thing is beating inside your heart and it's kind of calling to you and you're like, maybe this is for me, and you're serious, like don't waste anybody's time, yours included or ours, but if you're serious about it, I would say walk down the path. Yeah, we obviously are not a sales-driven organization. We are a community, human-driven organization.
Right.
So what we're here to do is to make sure the right people are in the right opportunity and it's the right time, right? So there's been many sales conversations where I have said, I don't think this is the right time for you. Like if I was your business consultant coach, I'd be like, and they're like, you know what, you're right. I agree. And it's like, okay, well, if the timing changes, circumstances should come back to us. We're here, right?
Yeah.
And we've had other times where people have locked down a territory because they are like, no, I'm doing this, I'm in, but I'm not going to launch it for another 12 months, right? So there are those kinds of situations as well.
And that's totally fine.
That's totally fine. Yeah.
Because one of the things that's unique about Industrious, most franchise systems make you get open in a 12-month time window. I don't think that that's smart for anybody. I mean, I get it. They want to get you open so that they can collect their royalty, right? But that's not how I operate, and that's not how Industrious operates. We want to sign people on that are great, and then we want them to make sure that they're taking their time getting the right real estate opportunity, getting the right things in place, and ultimately signing the lease and the loan and stuff when the timing is right for them. And we work with everybody. I mean, most people's timeline is anywhere between, at the fastest, 12 months, but most people are getting open somewhere between like 14 and 18 months, somewhere in there, when they're actually like grand opening party and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a process, right? So that's how it goes. I mean, it's a very straightforward, it's a very simple, zero pressure kind of experience. It's very educational, it's collaborative, supportive. And, as you were saying, Steve-O, there's a lot of times where we're there also to help provide resources, provide different people out there like real estate specialists or financing specialists. So we have a really incredible team that can help. You don't have to use any of them, but we highly encourage you to because they're dialed into the Industrious system.
They're on our team for a reason. They're talented and they're good.
And what they've done for our other owners is what you want them to do for you, which is to find a dope location and find the best financial package and get that thing funded and opened.
Right. Yeah, no, it is. That's exactly right. So we've got all those people on our team, and we'll get you connected with those people once you're signed on and it's time to start looking at the financing. It's time to look at the real estate. Our team is really, really good, and they know Industrious well, and they know what we're looking for, and they'll guide you along and make that process extremely simple.
So if that's you, if that's something that's resonating, start the process, right? Get started. And if you're already in the process, then you know how fun it is and how cool it is and how exciting it is. And sometimes it can even be a little bit scary, right? Because you're thinking about starting a whole new chapter of life, a new business. But unlike starting a business from scratch, when you're looking at the Industrious opportunity and you're starting, to step into this model that has been fully formed and is perfectly baked, you can never see there's no risk, but we have mitigated all of the unknowns, and it just comes down to execution.
Right.
And it comes down to following the system, and it comes down to having like the best time of your life. And I mean, I just think about so many of the owner stories that we could tell, about their journey from like kind of that nervous, scared, excited energy to, signing up and then going through the process and then the hard work of the project, the getting the space locked down, transforming the space. And then the moment the doors open and it all becomes real. And then a year later, 2 years later, you have 300 members, you're in a new, like financially, like the business is just crushing it. That's the vision. That's the goal. That's kind of how we lay it out.
That's exactly how it goes.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here. Steve-O, thanks again for sharing, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thanks, everybody.